Nick Hart from Backstreet Boys.
Shout out to Boy Band Break.
It's Chris Kirkpatrick here. Shout out to your podcast, Boy Band Break.
Everybody, this is Howie D, and I'm listening to Boy Band Break.
Hi, Ashley Parker Angel here. Huge shout out to the Boy Band Break podcast.
This is Brad from LFO, and you are listening to Boy Band Break.
Hey, what's up? This is Jacob.
What's up? It's Dan.
What's up? It's Trevor.
And it's Eric Michael, and it's time for Boy Band Break, baby. Let's go!
Welcome back to Boy Band Break, where we encourage you to take a break from your day and join us in some boy band conversation. As always,
I'm Chinzia.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Lydia, aka Mama Lou.
Welcome back.
Yes, so we had almost a full month of 90s Con.
There was a lot to talk about.
There was a lot there. Thank you for watching those and listening to those. And
I feel like people appreciated them because we got some good likes on the
comments. Yes, so
you got to live vicariously through
our bizarre, interesting or not interesting week. But anyways, and then last week we got back to boy bands because we had Kara from BSB Fangirls to talk about the Backstreet Boys 30th anniversary book. And you know what? The 30th anniversary just passed on April 20th. So happy 30th anniversary, boys.
Yay! Happy 30th. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
At 11 years old, that people would be like, that's a phase. And then now I can say it was not a phase. Look at us now, 30 years.
It, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you know what? In honor of the 30th anniversary, what's a favorite Backstreet Boys memory? Sophia, what's one of yours?
Okay.
I know it's hard to narrow down.
That's very hard. Okay.
Sorry, I just got inspired now.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go first?
Okay, I'll say one of my favorite Backstreet Boys memories is Nick related. And we were at that con in Chicago and we're like, is he going to remember us? I don't know. And then we turned the corner and he's like, my peeps, and held out his arms to hug us. So that's one of my favorite memories. Also jumping into the pool on that last cruise with Nick, and he's jumping in the pool. I'm like, you know what? I'm going in, man. So that was fun. Concerts are always fun. When we went to Vegas together, that was fun.
That was fun.
That was good. So yeah.
I would think the Canada Day con picture that we took was pretty fun.
Oh, yes. So we were all dressed up.
We all had Canadian items in the picture.
Nick is very good at conventions for just standing there and letting us dress him up. So we put on a Canada flag cape and gave him a hockey stick, which he was smashing around and ended up hitting Howie with.
And he sang the song Blame Canada. So I think that's a great memory.
That was really fun. That was a really
And then there's fun ones in BSB VIPs when we did the DNA words and then us pretending to run after them. Because we're crazy fans.
We talked about that last week.
Yes.
No, that was fun.
And then what else? Yeah, concerts are good. Cruises have been good. Yeah. I think those were the two main ones, though.
Yes, I think so. Those are awesome. Lydia, do you have?
I think just I obviously have less VIP experience. I'd say going to the concert with my husband beside me, and then
Lydia forgetting that her husband.
And I was like, "Oh, sorry."
That's always great.
What was your?
I do want to say
that day.
Did you not yell out, "Show us your wang"?
Show us your wang.
Yeah.
And I looked over to my husband. Oh, sorry, honey.
Although I did like that they brought back some of the songs that we haven't heard in so long.
That's the way. I like it.
Yeah.
So good.
And then Don't Want to Lose You Now. I haven't heard that song in ages. Basically when I was 14. So
wow,
to hear it live again, I was like, woo, beautiful.
Yeah. And then also going to Vegas was a really
Vegas was a good one too.
Yeah, there's some good.
My favorite part is that we didn't tell Lydia and the moms that the guys were going to show up behind us.
That was very interesting.
So when they turned around and Nick and AJ were there, they're like, "Oh my god!
Yeah, it was.
Did you know they were going to be there?" We're like, yes, that's why we picked these.
That's why we chose them. Yes.
Yeah, that was good. Those are good memories. Yeah. And I don't know.
And you met Nick at the CD signing where he didn't sign CDs and just took pictures.
Yeah, well, that's
St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, I remember that.
Was
yeah,
fun
I think that was the first time I ever met Diane.
No, you would have known her before that.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But yeah, so that was good. Pictures there. One of my favorite Lydia moments is when we went to the Nick solo show, and it was the song "Sweat," I believe.
Yes. And we
like,
told her go in front of us.
You're like, Lydia, please stand in front of us. She's like, oh, this song sucks, and which we also thought before the show. And then he started performing, and she was like, "Whoa!" Like jaw dropped.
Yes, that was a good moment as well.
That was We need to bring you to more.
I know. I just can't afford it.
We should go. We're gonna go to O-Town, right? Are you gonna come with us?
Is that the
Yes, I think you should. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think you should come.
I think you should come to O-Town. It's June 1st, the OLG stage at Fall Zoo Casino. So that is, I think, O-Town's first Canadian thing in like 3 years or something.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And the lovely Christopher Allen Kirkpatrick will be hosting it.
Oh my God, we can invite him over
Brad
for
from
pasta.
LFO, we get Smash Mouth is also going to perform there, which is an odd combination. They've never performed with them before, but there you go.
I mean, they had Sugar
Hey,
Ray.
yeah, you're a rock star.
It's twas the 90s or 2000s at the time.
Twas the 2000s, so that'll be.
I'm sorry. I'm watching Raw as we're doing this, and one of the girls is gonna turn into a bad guy, so that's why it's gonna be very funny. Okay, sorry.
Is it like a magical transformation? Like, is there gonna be
they just lost the titles. And then we're going to find out that she's turning into a bad guy. So she's going bad.
Are you an insider?
She ran up. Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, is it the Dommy Mommy lady?
It's Trish Stratus. She's one of my favorites.
Trish Stratus turning evil?
Yeah, she just beat her up. She's beating up my other favorite, Becky Lynch. Sorry. Okay, sorry. This has nothing to do with anything.
Becky the man or whatever?
Yeah, the man.
Yes.
Oh, well, one of them.
They just lost the tag titles. And we think that she just beat up her best friend in the back. So she came to in the match, and now they just lost, and she just hit her. So now she's the bad guy. Yeah.
Oh no!
Okay, that has nothing to do with it. Sorry, I didn't
realize Trish Stratus was still wrestling. Like, she's been there.
She comes back for one-offs because she's one of the legends.
Yeah.
The lady.
She is not a singer, that is for sure.
No, she's not.
Canada's Walk of Fame, and she had to sing a song.
About Canada's Walk of Fame.
Canada's Walk of Fame. Me and Sophia were like,
that's so awful. God bless her for trying.
Were you at that?
At least she tried, right? At least she tried. Get out of your comfort zone, do different things.
That's true.
What's the name of the lady who's like a goth lady and they call her Dommy Mommy? What's her name? She just won the
yes, Rhea Ripley.
Yes, and she won against the lady who her dad was the whoo guy.
Yes, Charlotte Flair.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. See, Sophia knows what I'm talking about.
Sorry, that has nothing to do with Backstreet Boys, but like when you're watching this, something you just like, know it's gonna happen because like certain things have been happening that you think, and then it happens, and you're just like, oh my god.
Huh? I don't remember you having a green wall.
I think she's in a different room today.
I think because the lights are a little bit dimmed.
Oh, okay. That's okay. No worries.
I was like, that could be some fun green screen.
Yeah, it's cute.
There.
Speaking of other news, before we talk about the main thing we're
sorry about that. Yeah, that was just very exciting for me. Sorry.
So we've had some sad news. Bringing it down here. We've had some sad news in the last few weeks. The last remaining member besides Brad of LFO, Brian Gills. Oh my god,
I think Gills, right? Gills.
Yeah. So he was one of the founding members. So it was originally Rich, Briz, and then Brad. He has passed away at the moment that we are recording this. They haven't said how he passed away. So I don't know if he also had cancer like the other boys or if he had some sort of demons or something. So we don't know what happened to him, but
he might have had a heart attack. You don't know.
Honestly, we have no idea.
We have no idea. So we did an episode where we interviewed.
We actually had an episode where we interviewed Brad. I think it was episode 146 back in the day. And this was when Brad had just started doing this again. So we had watched this concert which we missed half of it because we were eating all you can eat sushi in a
car.
car. And
it was COVID days, guys.
It was COVID
weird.
times. It was weird. And then with that, we also got a meet and greet, like a personalized one. And then we had like a Q&A. So I got to watch that. And I thought it was going to be like a really short Q&A because I'm like, oh, how long could it be? And it ended up being like several hours long. And I like hurt my wrist writing the notes for that one. So
wasn't it like almost like 5 pages long?
It was.
Or it was on your phone or something,
so
right?
I don't know that episode. It might also be in that episode too. But then in that, we also got like a quick like 20-minute Zoom chat with Brad. So Lydia and I interviewed him, and we didn't really know a lot about LFO. So at the time, we just did like a really quick Wikipedia read through, and we saw that there was some guy named Briz, and we're like, we didn't know who he was.
And we're like,
because he left the band before LFO got big, right? So, which I actually just listened to Brad's interview with Lance on Frosted Tips. So he did kind of talk a little bit about that, but that was also recorded before Briz passed away. But yeah, so they had started, but then Briz thought it really wasn't going anywhere, whatever. So then he ends up leaving. There was Brad is very good at not speaking negative. So he really didn't say what the story was. So Lydia and I had asked like, hey, like, Rich and Devin are gone. Like, are you going to maybe do something with this Briz guy? And he said, with Briz, no. He's like, this is a very short interview, so we don't have time to like get into all of that. But then essentially had said something along the lines of,
no one's being replaced.
That's not honoring Rich or Devin by bringing someone else. They're not replacing him. And that he prays for Briz every day, and Briz is on his own journey. So
what that means,
I don't know. So we felt like shit afterwards. We're like, oh God, that was so awkward.
We've ever done.
Because it was also at the very end of the interview that we had asked that. So we're like, so this was like what, 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
So that was like awkward and weird, and we didn't know. So obviously we don't know enough. So if anyone is like an LFO like super fan and knows any of the backstory of what went down,
with
or
Briz,
if there was some issues or something and you want to enlighten us, please do, because we always like to learn new information.
Yeah.
But anyways, rest in peace. And Brad is still going to continue touring and honoring his bandmates and stuff. So we will be seeing him on June 1st at the Fallsview. So,
and would you like to say like the theory that was going around?
There's yes, about the tour death theory, right? That one.
Yeah.
What you say about it?
Oh, I just thought there was like a theory that
and it's cursed.
Yeah.
But that it's cursed. Like if they go on tour, then the next time they die.
Yeah, but
something like that.
It doesn't make any sense.
He doesn't believe in the tour.
Because Briz died.
It was on TMZ.
TMZ said something
like that, right?
They're like, oh, Brad's still going to continue to tour, but apparently, like some other people, like producers and stuff like that, so have also passed and things. So he doesn't think that it's a curse, and it's just
But why would they? Why would they even bring it up? Like what?
Because
like
TMZ sensationalizes
they
things.
They love stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think I put it in our group chat.
Did you? Okay, I'm
Yes,
like, I swear. Okay, you know what? Yes, my internet.
Here it is. It says, LFO's Brad Fischetti is not scared by death curse theory. I'm alive. The show must go on. Do you want me to actually read this?
No. So essentially,
you don't have to. No, I just
people are dying every time he goes on tour.
So, anyways, a lot of people didn't know that Briz was an LFO. So a lot of people mistakenly thought Brian was Brad, right? Because the names sound similar, so they thought that Brad had passed away. Obviously, Brad has not passed away as of this time period. Yes. So, anyway, so he left before. So Devin replaced Briz, and And so did you know? Okay, so this kind of shocked me. So Devin was 41 when he died in November 2018, and Rich was only 36 when he died.
Wow!
In September 2010. Whoa. That's crazy. So, and as of this time, it doesn't say what Briz passed away of.
Oh wow!
Yes. So, anyways, that's very sad.
That's very sad.
To Brad, because he's had a lot of heartbreak. He was at the Aaron Carter Memorial, and that was really hard on him as well. We have the footage of that in our Boy Band Break YouTube, but it's just, so you feel for Brad because he's somebody who wears his heart on the sleeve. When he was doing the podcast with Lance is like, you were like the kindest person that I know, and you like are very, he preaches kindness and Zen and a lot of stuff. So anyways, thinking about Brad, it's always hard when things like that happen. Another person that passed away in the boy band world, which shocked in the pop world, was Paul.
From S Club 7.
S Club 7. So S Club 7 just announced a few weeks ago, a month ago or so, that they were getting together and doing like a reunion tour, all 7 of them. So then Paul was found in his home, not suspicious, apparently it said. So I don't know. So at the time of this, they hadn't released what
the cause of death was.
So it could have been.
Do you think it was natural causes?
Could have been suicide. I don't know. We don't know. It was weird.
That picture that they posted like a few days before on Twitter.
The day before.
It's very eerie.
Which only 6 members of S Club were in the picture. And
well, he probably wasn't feeling good that day, right?
Who knows, right?
Who knows what's going on?
Who knows what happened? So, thoughts out to that. Like, it was just very shocking because you didn't expect it.
Yeah, especially when they just announced that they were going to do something, right? Yeah.
So.
That's crazy.
I'm assuming I believe their tour is only in the UK. I don't think they were planning to come to North America at all. But that's a lot of sadness in the last few weeks in the pop music world.
Yeah.
There any?
There is some
hacks. And yes, how about we can give a little uplift us all. Jonas Brothers. Yeah.
You say it.
Sorry.
Sophia, say it.
Sorry, Jonas Brothers have released a new song called Waffle House, and they performed on so many shows, SNL, Today Show, lots of morning shows as well.
Yes, apparently they also released another single, I want to say it's called Wings.
Yes, that was the first one.
So that was the first one. Then Waffle House. And then their album is coming out on May 12th, as far as I know. So obviously we will do an album review, as we always do. We love the Jonas Brothers here. I have not had a chance to listen to Waffle House. Sophia, you said you listened to it.
I really enjoyed the Waffle House. It's very catchy, the chorus. And I was kind of surprised that I would like it.
So if I'm not mistaken from what I read, it's about like when they used to go to the Waffle House after shows, like
they would have deep conversations there to get things off their chest, make them feel better.
You know what's entertaining is that they are not the only Waffle House boy banders, my friends.
No, they're not.
Johnny Wahlberg is a big fan of Waffle House. So he actually used to, I don't know if he still does this, but I think the whole band used to go to the Waffle House after, because if I'm not mistaken, Waffle House is open 24 hours.
Yeah, they're a wild place. And
remember we went one time on our way to Florida, and there was that guy in the leather hat with the little mirrors, and then it was just like a bunch of creepy, there's an interesting characters.
Yeah,
you never know who you're going to be.
And then there was
the fighters of Waffle House are amazing. The staff don't take any shit. If you try to fight them, they will come for you.
Yeah, you're always seeing these videos at Waffle House. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, is everyone okay over
there? In their defense, I believe they're open 24 hours.
Yes,
so I'm sure they get a lot of drunk people coming in.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. A lot of other crazy,
And Donnie always used to do after parties there.
Yeah, so Donnie would go, and he would go to a Waffle House after a concert, and then a bunch of fans would be there, and I think sometimes he would actually pay for the fans.
Yeah, sometimes he would. He's very nice.
Yeah, so but you never knew which Waffle House he was going to, so you could kind of guesstimate versus where you are and where the next show was going to be, and would they go to this one or that one.
Oh wow,
because depending on where you are, sometimes cities would have multiple Waffle Houses and stuff.
Of course. Anyway,
so Donnie, so I'm I wonder if Donnie's mad that he didn't write a song called Waffle House, because I feel like when I think boy band Waffle House, I think Donnie Wahlberg.
That's so cute.
Yes.
Cute. Get
they were also saying Waffle House. Sorry,
get the hash browns. They're really good. Go ahead.
They were also saying about Waffle House, the reason why they would go to Waffle House is because back then they were too young to go to bars. So the family would go to Waffle House.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Because drinking age is 21 in the States. So
that makes sense.
And they were definitely teenagers. So
yes, they were. Yeah.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, now that we've discussed some of that thing and we're 18 minutes into the show, what are we going to talk about today, Lydia?
My favorite topic, Ashley Parker Angel. Yay!
And where was he?
He was on Frosted Tips with Lance Bass, which is a podcast that has Lance Bass from NSYNC.
So it's Lance Bass from NSYNC and his husband, Michael Turkey Turchin.
Oh, God. Yes.
And so they talk to various boy banders. So we've done a few of these episodes where we kind of recap. And today's going to be another one.
So I know
we did AJ and JC, and now it's Ashley.
Did we actually do the AJ one? Or did we talk about doing the AJ one? I don't know if we did.
Okay, yes, we just did JC then.
And Trevor.
Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry, Trevor, JC, and now Ashley. Sorry.
So there you go.
There's quite a few on here, and I know it's a little bit meta podcast.
Oh, right. We were going to do 2 together.
Yes, and then we just did not, I feel.
Yes, we just did Trevor. Yes.
Whatever for Trevor.
That's all good. Sorry.
Yes. So anyway.
Sometimes I forget what we're doing.
But I feel like we like to pick the ones about when they talk to boy banders that we don't really talk about often. So Ashley Parker Angel is one of these people because first of all, he's like Lydia's favorite boy bander.
There's a reaction video on our boy band break where you guys had recorded
where I got Ashley to wish Lydia a happy birthday.
It was beautiful. I got serenaded and I loved it. I loved it.
Yes, with
my husband
piano,
loves Ashley
right?
as well. Ashley is a voice actor for Lunar, which is a very popular video game. So, so it's just we are an Ashley Parker Angel household.
You're an Ashley Parker Angel. Okay, so we actually have 2.
Fun.
So we have just the shout out, and then we have Lydia reacting, and then it's really funny because at one point in this, at the very end, like. We just throw in a shirtless picture of him or something.
Yeah, no, Kenny edited that in.
This isn't the one with you. Okay.
It's
we have a couple of them up there, but Lydia's like reacting to it, and it's really funny. So.
We love Ashley Parker Angel in this house.
So anyways, yes. So if you want to see it, go to youtube.com/boybandbreak. You will see lots of fun things.
That's the reaction.
Lydia's reaction.
Yeah,
this is like,
this one.
Fuck.
That is a fun one, yes.
It's so funny because like I feel like you knew possibly that we were going to have him, but then it just kind of like it was still exciting for him to say.
No, my husband edited some.
He edited some like funny pictures of like Ashley shirtless and this thing. So
it was
Lydia losing her mind. There's Lydia's face. That's fantastic. But anyways, that's Lydia's.
See, that's a great face. See.
Cameo birthday shout out. So check that out.
Thank you
if
so
like
much, guys.
Some entertainment because Lydia is funny.
Man, Ashley is just absolutely gorgeous. He's nerdy. He likes acting. Like it just like he's like a male version of me. So of course I love him. He's great.
It was really funny because as he was talking during this interview, I was like, "Oh, that reminds me of Lydia."
I know.
Oh my god, I was doing the same thing.
That's so
cute. Yes.
Oh,
so today Lydia had the honor of writing the notes.
I made a lot of notes.
Yes.
So look at all them. Look at all them notes. Okay.
Look at all them notes.
We'll inject what we can remember because it's a lot. And there was a few interesting tidbits.
There were some interesting tidbits.
So yes, I'm excited to get to the bottom of this.
All right, Lydia, kick us off, man.
All right. Yeah, I feel like from the words of the horse's mouth, I think that I'm like, okay, this is the most accurate information because Ashley is saying it about himself. Anyway, all right, let's get started.
Honestly, we really don't see a lot about Ashley.
We don't,
right? We saw him in the Boy Band Con movie that Lance did. We saw some other stuff. But we haven't really seen him since like Making the Band Days, and then he had his own TV show, which I don't know.
Yes.
And we saw him at Rewind Con. That was the last time we seen him.
That was just like a quick brief, like I don't even think we got him as he was leaving. We're like, hey, can we take a quick picture? And he's like, okay, as he's rolling his luggage away. And like it was
sweetheart.
Yes.
Okay, all right, here is the Frosted Tips Ashley Parker Angel episode. Okay, I wrote, the first thing I wrote, blah, blah, blah with his husband, Turkey Turgent. I'm like, oh my God, why do they call him Turkey again?
Turchin.
Oh, I don't know.
He's called Turkey because his feathers get ruffled like a turkey.
Oh, for God's sake. Is that why? I'm like, what is this crap?
And then also Lance starts it with, welcome my little peanuts.
Yeah,
but
why do we have peanuts?
I think it's like the peanut gallery or something. He just thought it was like a cute thing. But a lot of people mishear that and think that he's saying my little penis. And then,
all right.
And the best part about this, they're starting off, they're talking about a Frosted Tips cruise.
Yes.
Before they even introduce Ashley.
Yeah, it took at the 15-minute mark for them to actually introduce Ashley. I'm like, hello, but like Ashley is talking.
23-minute mark, and we're just talking.
No, I know, but like I'm like I have a very trained ear when it comes to Ashley Parker Angel. I can tell his voice like immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
they definitely start talking before they mention who the hell
and I guess because they probably have like a very like nice relationship with Ashley. But yeah, I
feel like this is what probably happened, because when we have guests on our show, we will give them the link and they will join, and we will chat with them a few minutes before. We don't just like, all right, throw you right on. So I'll be like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about, whatever.
Is there anything
you don't want us to talk about, whatever.
We're very professional.
So that's how we started, because we're lazy and we really don't like to edit. No. The content of the editing is the opening and closing and then the opposite things.
That's all I do.
So we're like, I don't want anything to be awkward or whatever. So we'll just talk now, cool, and then we'll start. So I feel like they just start recording as soon as they connect, because I feel like we started chatting.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, where is my Ashley Parker Angel?
I guess they just want you to like be in the experience with them, right? Like
I guess, yeah. So
they're
like
talking about their kids and
and I was like, okay, and there's Easter egg hunt. I'm like, okay. I'm like, where is my hottie biscotti? Get into it, right? Okay. Anyways, long story short, the 15 minutes 55 second mark, they finally introduce Ashley, and I like how they described him, because he's an interesting fellow. So it's like Ashley is a musician and actor who rose to prominence as a member of O-Town, acted in several Broadway plays since 2007, and was in Wicked. He was the Fiyero, and he's currently the founder of High Level and is a fitness coach. So I was like, okay. They didn't mention his voice acting accolades, but I'm like, okay.
Maybe he forgot that he was
could have been
voice actor.
It's technically voice acting and acting is kind of similar, so maybe that's why they're like actor, So I'm like, okay,
true.
Anyways, then Lance and Ashley reminisce about the musical Hairspray, because I guess they were both in
Hairspray.
Yes, they were both in it.
That would have been good to see.
Corny Collins and one was Link.
Yeah, so Lance was like the Corny Collins, and then Ashley was like
Link.
The hot guy, Link.
And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. That tracks. Because if you guys have seen, I don't know, can I pull up? I'm going to pull up really quickly his Instagram, because he's just so beautiful. And I wasn't allowed to pull it up today. Kenny's like, I know what he looks like. You don't have to pull it up. I'm like, but Kenny, we need reference for what we're listening to. He's like, I know what Ashley looks like. I'm like, Okay, anyways. Ashley,
it's always nice to look at him again.
I know, he's just so beautiful. He's kind of like Nick Carter in a way, where he's like pretty. Parker Angel. Am I spelling this right?
Is that him with the blue check mark?
He's the blue check mark, my guy. Okay, so let me
Ashley _ Parker _ Angel.
Share screen. Anyways, I'm gonna click this one. He's so gorgeous.
I feel like on Twitter he's just Parker Angel, but it could be wrong.
Anyways, this is what he looks like. And he's in a towel, guys.
This is a lot of.
This
is his wellness business. This is why he posts these things to promote his wellness business. I was like, okay, now I understand why you post it on like that.
He's doing VR.
Obviously, you don't need a reason to post your pictures, but it's a good reason to know that he has a business.
I have to say, one of my favorites was he randomly had his pants around his ankles and was like, Happy Pilot Day. And I was like, what does that have to do with
He was wearing a hat, okay? He was wearing a pilot hat. So, anyways, guys, if you have some time, definitely take a look at the Instagram. It's a feast for the eyes.
It's so funny, because literally every time I talk about O-Town, because I don't know why I said it with a weird accent. O-Town. Look at him, he's an angel.
He's an angel. This is when he was recording for me.
Yes, it would have been that time.
Oh my god. Okay, please continue. Please
Lydia keeps clicking. Well, you can really see his dick in that one, eh?
I don't know what you're talking about. This is Art. This is Art Shinzia.
Yes.
This is Art. He's doing Superman.
Clark Kent.
Yeah, Clark Kent.
Anyways, so anytime someone's like, oh, is Ashley in O-Town? And I say, no, he's not. And they're like, oh, I'm like, go check out his Instagram because you will enjoy it. And they're like, why? And I was like, don't worry, just go check it out.
Trust me.
Anyway, so it's Ashley _ Parker
how young he is.
Angel.
Oh, okay. Anyways, okay. Are
we gonna get back to?
I'm sorry. I got distracted. My bad. Excuse me.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
This is one of the reasons why you should watch us on YouTube.
Sorry,
instead of just listening.
Okay,
but also our Spotify does have video as well. So feel free to.
My
Okay.
eyeballs have been blessed. Okay.
Lydia's eyeballs have been blessed. All right, everyone.
Let's take a look. Okay,
She's
so
blessing us all. See?
there we go. Okay, so yeah, they reminisce about the musical Hairspray. Lance, oh, this was a funny one. Lance eats cold Olive Garden when he used to finish tours, like,
Yes.
and he used to get the tour of Italy and garlic breadsticks.
I know. I was like, that's Liz.
Yes.
Please gets my order. It's amazing. The tour of Italy, if you guys, we're in Canada. We only get blessed with Olive Garden maybe once a year if we're lucky.
By going to the States.
Going to the
not,
States.
Like it doesn't magically come to
No,
us.
that would be.
Oh, could you imagine magically?
Oh my God.
Yes.
The tour of Italy.
Ironically, we were going to eat at the Olive Garden for my birthday, but the line was too long, so we went to Chili's, and that's where we saw O-Town.
We met O-Town.
So there you go.
Yeah,
See?
so,
Fate.
Olive
exactly.
Garden, man.
Olive Garden. So the tour of Italy is
God, I
the
love
chicken
some
parm,
breadsticks.
the fettuccine alfredo, and lasagna. So I'm like, oh, Lance. All right.
Meant to be. Meant to be.
Anyways, oh, and then we're talking about Broadway and how like venues don't allow footage of Broadway plays, and
It's
it's
just super annoying.
which is annoying because he's like, I have no proof that I actually did this play, but I swear to God I was there.
And that would have been good. Like that's the one I love going to theater. I love plays. But I'm the type of person who, if I like a movie, I will rewatch it a million times. So that's the shitty part about plays is that you can't rewatch them. And that's why when that boy band play was in town, I went to go see 6 out of the 7 performances. Also, it was really cheap.
Yeah.
But also it was really good. And it just
Also, we didn't have a lot to look forward to, so I think
yes,
that's
there
why
was
you
no
also went.
concerts
Yeah.
and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's just nice. And we've done plays, and we have recorded each of our plays.
We were in fringe festivals. They
Fringe
got no
festivals.
rules. They're
They
just
can-
lucky someone shows up.
We were allowed to tell them, but like that's the thing. And so Ashley says there are some bootleg versions out there, but
They get
like
shut
every
down
time they
quickly.
put them on YouTube, they take them down. So maybe they should put them on Daily Motion. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, they should have like at least given a copy to them.
You'd
think.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Anyways, so then we are into Ashley's Broadway debut was Hairspray. A 3-month contract turned into a 1 year and 8-month contract. So he was doing a great job. And then
8 shows a week.
8 shows a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is
That was
insane.
really
so I think
good.
they only had like one. So that means that they have like obviously at least one day they have 2 shows in a day.
Yeah.
Mm,
But I think that's usually 2 days a week. They're dark
yeah,
because they give them
I
like
think
2
so.
days off.
I'm not sure.
But
I think so. I've
So
heard
then
that
2
before.
days they would have 2 shows. 2 or
Yeah.
3 shows.
So essentially, Ashley said that he performed on Broadway more than he did with O-Town.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, with 8 shows a week.
Makes sense because if you don't go a lot on tour,
Yeah, exactly, right? So he was saying that it was starting to feel like Groundhog Day, and he got sick of Broadway. He got sick of that show. So
Which Lance got sick of after 3 months. He was
Mhm.
like, okay, this is great. And then he was just like, he only had a 3-month contract.
Yeah.
Lance, so
which makes sense. Sometimes like you get bored after a while, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
keep doing the same thing.
And he said for Lance, it was when he no longer had the nerves, right? Like, because you get nervous before you go on a stage. Howie has
Mhm.
talked about that
Yeah.
with us before too, about how you have to get like you're nervous and that helps you like perform better or whatever. But when it just becomes a routine and you don't really care, then it's not.
Yeah, because I find that when you're nervous, you care more about your performance and you want to do well.
Yeah, exactly.
totally, exactly.
But they apparently partied a lot and they still contact each other a lot. So.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then Ashley called in sick one day, and he went to go see Wicked, and his mind was blown. So then,
The theater was bigger and a lot more people in the show. He also, do you talk about how they mentioned that like for Hairspray, they were actually performing around the time the movie came out.
yeah,
So there was a lot of people very interested, and they said it was very much like a boy band type concert, standing room only. People were excited, whatever, to see them and all the other performers that were there. But when you go to Wicked, it's not about the performers; it's about the show.
yeah,
Because
Yes.
Wicked is a show that
It's like a
people
dark,
are-
darker.
doesn't give a shit who's playing that character because you're now involved in that character.
right, exactly. Yeah, that was interesting. And then we hit some ads at the 24-minute mark, and then I'm like, oh, these ads, and then we were.
You gotta pay the bills.
I know, but
You
it's like
just skip the ads, you know.
I could-
Oh,
no,
you have the free
I
version.
have the free
you
version, so
can't.
I could not. So and I was like, okay, now at 27-minute mark, we're back. Okay, so then it goes into like Ashley's like childhood, and it was so interesting.
Holy crap! I
Oh
did
my
not
God.
expect that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get into it.
Wow.
Ashley was born in Redding, California, which is at the top of California. He has an older brother that is 14 years older than him, and 2 stepsisters and a younger half brother. So I was like, oh wow. Holy
So
I didn't know all that. I just knew about one of the brothers.
yeah,
I didn't know the other ones.
about that. And then
So he was not close with his brother when they were kids because he's 14 years older. But then as adults, they're now.
yeah, exactly.
Sure, like once he started getting the chicks, he's like, the brother's like, hello.
Yeah, so he grew up essentially as an only child, but his older brother they're close now, and he teaches nuclear physics. I was like, what in the
Smarty pants.
Instagram? And because you look at Abs McGee over here, and then you're just like nuclear physicist on the other side. It's like what? Anyways,
balance, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. So then this is the thing that he's like, I really don't talk about this much, but I actually grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I was like, what? That was insane. And he went to church 4 times a week. At 16 years old, he was excommunicated from the church because he wanted to pursue entertainment, and he was disfellowshipped and shunned from.
Has that always been the case? Like, did they talk about that and making the band? Because I totally forgot about this. If they did,
I never even
making the band rewatch. There's 3 seasons though, so I feel like that's kind of a lot too.
That's a lot, yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Because I don't recall that he was in the church.
So he's not anymore, but
not anymore. But back then, I didn't remember
I think he was already out of the church so he didn't. I think he was maybe 18 when he started out of town. I can't remember, but anyways, so he was dating a girl who was not Jehovah's Witness, and he wanted to be in the musical Grease in high school.
Yeah,
so because he wanted to do that, they're like, get out of the church. And not only that, because it's very strong that excommunication, ex-fellowship, he had to actually move out of his house. His parents weren't allowed to talk to him anymore.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's extreme.
So his senior year of high school, he's like moving in with his friend. I'm like, okay, what kind of parents are you?
I know.
Yeah,
this is your child. Like, I get it, like some cults and things like that, but like,
yeah, I feel like
it's a cult or anything, but
yeah, you can make an exception for your child. I don't know.
One would think, yeah.
Like.
What I like, he said like this, and I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant. He's like, even though I was disfellowshipped, he's like, I ended up stepping away from the judgment of others. And I was like, oh my god, this is so powerful, right? Even like,
even though like he believes in certain things, he's not a judgy person.
Yeah,
where he wants you to believe in the same thing that he believes in, which I found that was good because most people are like that. They want you to believe the same things that you believe in.
Right, exactly, yeah. So yeah, you mentioned that he wanted to do the Grease musical as a local college. He was dating someone of a different faith, so he had to move out in the senior year of high school. And also, he has a son named Lyric, which I thought was really cute.
Who's 18 years old?
Which is insane. I can't believe he's 18.
I'm like, how old have we gotten? Oh my gosh!
I know, it's kind of crazy. So then he says that he is more spiritual than religious. And he exposed his son to all different religions, but essentially to be more of a spiritual person. He's not like of one faith.
Which he liked that word, right? He liked that word that they use, spiritual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it was pretty much that all kind of religions kind of boil down to the same basic concept. So it doesn't really
just like be nice to people.
Be nice to people, whatever. There's other things.
Yeah. Yeah. And then and this part really like kind of like whoa, like threw me through a loop because he was like talking about his son and like how like he's just so proud of him and all this. I'm like, what? Like, and then
so he was on American Horror Story.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Yeah, his son was on American Horror Story Hotel. He was in 6 episodes with Kathy Bates and Lady Gaga.
That is incredible. Oh my gosh, that's
first
incredible.
Acting gig. Oh my god, it's amazing.
Where do you go from there?
I know, right?
He went back to high school.
Yeah,
because he wanted to go do the high school thing.
Exactly. So he said the actual life of a working actor is a lot of prepping for auditions and hearing no a lot. I'm like, yup. So my life, yup.
Yes. Like, I thought of you, Lydia. I was like, yes, this is Lydia right now.
I know.
It probably looks easy that they get all these gigs, but there's so many rejections.
So many auditions, so many cold calls. Not cold calls. You have to do a lot of self-tapes. Like literally, like my basement is rigged for self-tapes right now. I had to take a break from it because it was so depressing. And like, it's hard. It's hard to be an actor. Like it's really, it hurts your feelings. Like it's.
Even the actors that I follow on Instagram, they're always like, try your best. I did this. Like give yourself like grace, even though you don't get the jobs. Yeah. Just say like, oh, you did a good job. Don't take it too hard if you get rejected, which I think is nice to say because everyone is like, yes, I need this job, I need the job, and then when you don't get it, you're so sad.
It's true. Think that there's hundreds of people auditioning for one job, right? So,
and it's a lot of, and it's a very look-based
industry, yeah.
And so, like, if you don't have the look, then that's it, right?
And
but like,
the look can change all the time of what look they're looking for.
And sometimes, like a lot of times, if it's not what you know, it's who you know as well. So it's like it was becoming like a pay to play thing, and it really kind of sucked the life out of me. So I had to like take a little break from it just because I was like, what happened?
Even though like Hollywood has gotten a little bit better, I feel like they're still like stuck in their ways of like the certain image they want and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and like even like the people who are in the industry are very like cutthroat and mean. Like I had to fire my agent earlier this year because she was just an absolute a-hole. And then I talked about this person when I was on set, and they're like, oh, that's my agent. I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I can't talk to anybody anymore. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, and I haven't gotten any calls since then. So I'm like, okay, great. So I probably just ruined myself.
I don't think you blacklisted yourself. I just think there's probably not blacklisting.
But it's a small world, right? Especially in GTA area, there's like no jobs really. Right?
It's true. So that kind of sucked. Anyways, but yeah, so it was nice to hear that someone as hot as Ashley actually gets rejected too. So I was like, okay, it's not just
exactly.
Okay,
it's everyone. Like all of like A-listers.
Yeah.
All the A-listers were rejected too.
Yeah, exactly.
You always hear like Jennifer Aniston when she first started, she got rejected. George Clooney got rejected. Brad Pitt, like they all got rejected.
Yeah, I mean, like you wouldn't expect that because you're like, oh my God, these guys are huge. Yeah, so it felt
still happens to
because everyone starts somewhere, right? Like even the A-listers start from the beginning, just like you and I.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true. Yeah. So that was nice for him to say that. So I felt.
Yeah, I agree. That was nice.
And then he said Lyric wanted to focus on school more than acting at age 11. And this part really, I'm like, Ashley sounds like a really dedicated and attentive parent. I'm like, I wish I had that. That's amazing. So then he was saying child actors have it tough because you're pushed into an adult world, which is true.
Which is true.
Yeah.
And they were saying like their parents were like at 18 or 17, 18 is when you can start going for acting roles, which I thought was a good number because you always see now child actors who are like, are not doing well right now.
Yeah, even like the Amanda Bynes of the world. Right?
Yeah,
like, yeah, exactly. So then, so he said, I'm happy to say that Lyric has graduated from school and he has young Johnny Depp vibes. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so cute for him to say that. Then Ashley
do people like, is that good? Because I don't know. Do people like Johnny Depp now?
Yeah, he won his
I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So then Ashley, I think Ashley is like very nice to his son because of what happened to him. You know what I mean? So like that's, I don't know. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Ashley said he was 17 when he joined O-Town, and he said becoming famous is a psychological hurdle. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Because he was saying like he had a few movie roles, but he had to turn it down because the band is number one priority.
Right, exactly.
And then I'll get into that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so then
flew to Vegas.
Wait, guys, are getting ahead of yourselves. Okay, I got the notes. All right. Ashley was a young dad, and it was very challenging being in the acting world, which is true. And Ashley was in New York, but his son lived in California, and he wanted to move back. So then Ashley passed up the musical Anne Juliet, and he wanted to focus on being a dad.
That is
and he lives in Vegas.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Blonde boy banders live in Vegas.
See? Nick and Ashley need to get together.
There you go. Exactly. And then Lance decides now to shit upon the Pop 2K tour. I'm like, oh, Chili's going to love this.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow.
He didn't really shit upon it.
To be fair, he does have twin.
What is?
Oh, my God.
What is going on?
I leaned back too far, guys. Sorry.
He does have twin children, right? He's twins.
He didn't shit upon the twins.
Yeah, I wrote down.
Okay.
I wrote down. He said it takes about 3 to 4 days travel time to get to and from. He said none of them are in major cities. They're all in random cities. And so that's why he does podcasts.
I feel bad because it was like one day getting there and then one day getting back. And then he's spending like all this time away from his children.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he's like, I'm not doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's good because now Chris is doing it.
Chris is there. So, and Jeff Timmons.
Woo!
See?
Exactly. And then Ashley says the road ain't no place to raise a family. And I'm like, that's kind of true.
Which is a Journey song they were talking about. Yes.
Exactly. So then after the Wicked musical, Ashley launched his fitness company called High Level. And
then he was talking about how he uses Instagram as a tool to promote his business.
Exactly.
Which I was like, okay, now it makes sense.
It does. Yes. So then what I found, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm just reading into shit too much, but I really love this interview because I felt like a lot of things that he was talking about really resonated with me. Like the acting resonated with me. And then this other line he says now. So because like, you know, after my exit from the corporate world, it's been very hard to find myself lately. So he says, if you want to find out what you're passionate about, go back to when you were little before the world conditioned you. I'm like,
yes, I really like that answer. So he was saying like, when you go back to your childlike, what you want to do in life, that's usually where your answer is. And I was like, I never thought it like that.
I know, me too. I'm like, oh my God, this man's a genius.
And
then that's when they're like, and that's when they were like, Lance, you're going to go to space because that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah. And then he's like, don't get him started. I was like, oh my God, detergent, please. Detergent, whatever
his name is not detergent.
Turkey. Sorry,
Turchin.
Oh my gosh. If we ever get him on, like, your name is detergent now.
Right, exactly. So
his name is Michael.
Okay, sorry. Turkey, Mr. Turkey. Okay. So actually, like, he loved working out so much that at 15, he hired a personal trainer and worked at the gym to pay it off. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, I was picking my nose at 15. Like, oh my God, this guy's already have like he's got it freaking together. It's amazing.
I worked out.
And then he was on Making the Band. And so health and wellness is something that Ashley can control. That's why he's like, a lot of things in your life you can't control. This is the one thing I can control. That's why I enjoy it a lot. I'm just like, I wish I hate fries.
It's a lifestyle, right?
So it's in my mouth. That's what, but
although you can get trained by Ashley and get like phone calls.
I know. I was like, oh,
it was kind of pricey though. I feel like we looked into it the one time. It was like $2,000 or something.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah,
for like 2 months or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Lance uses a tonal workout machine, and that's because he hates going to the gym. I'm like, okay, cool. And
because he was saying that he tried, but like he makes so many excuses for himself. Like there's traffic.
Yeah.
It's too cold. But now he's like, yeah, I go every day. I'm like, wow.
In the morning, they say they start off with a morning workout.
Yeah, morning workout. That's right. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Because most people are not motivated.
No, I know. Then Ashley says he uses working out as an antidepressant. I was like, interesting.
I have heard that.
I've heard that. A lot of people that's one of the things they use, and then like a therapist and that kind of thing.
Exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands.
Legally Blonde.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so then and then Ashley says the world of social media is really hard, and I'm like, yeah, that's true.
It's very negative.
Even when he's as good looking.
Even when you're as good looking and carved in marble as that guy. Yeah, seriously. Remember when Nick said you're like carved in marble?
That was Brady from Boy Band.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so then
that Nick always has words.
Hairspray, his relationship ended. His record label dropped him. MTV didn't pick up his show. He was a single dad, and he was having dark and suicidal thoughts. I was like, what?
See?
Ashley?
Everyone goes through dark periods of time in their life.
Ashley Parker Angel! Like, I was not expecting that at all.
That just goes to show, like, even the pop stars are human and they go through things like that. So they're one of us, right?
Yeah, and he always just radiates positivity. So to think that he has gone through that darkness.
But a lot of times it's the people who have gone through like the crappy life. Like he treats his son so well because he was treated so poorly, right? Like he's very spiritual because his church shunned him, right? So like a lot of the people who are like nice have gone through a lot of pain to get.
And he had mentioned something about like, I'm not telling you about this shunning thing to make you feel bad for me.
Yeah,
it's just that I'm showing that this is what kind of shaped my life.
Yeah,
right.
And I was like, what? Oh my God!
And that can happen to anyone.
Yeah. So then he's like he said he's like he battles depression and mental health, and that's hard to show in a photo on Instagram, right? So that's why he prefers TikTok, because you have more control and you're able to see more, like it's more of a performance than a photo is.
Right.
Yeah, and Lance was saying he likes TikTok because it's more fun. It makes him laugh. It will go evil soon because all the social medias go evil. But at this time, he enjoys it.
Yes.
It goes evil?
Twitter. Lance left Twitter because there's a lot of negativity on Twitter.
Well, because of Elon and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he left before Elon, no?
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. And then BuzzFeed crowned Ashley king of thirst traps.
Yes.
Which you saw earlier. He earned his title there.
Absolutely.
So.
He earned it. What a crown that he earned.
And then he goes on to thank his manager, his agent, and his mom.
And his grandmother.
It's like so funny.
That was funny, yeah.
Yeah. Then he says, TikTok is not stealing data. Everyone is stealing your data. He's like, everywhere you go, they're stealing your data.
Let me tell you, my friend.
Even if you just go like 1 second on Facebook, it's something that you haven't even looked at is there on Facebook in an ad.
The phone has so much stuff about you and tracks every little thing you do. So even if you think it's not, people have data. So, here's another spoiler alert. Most people don't care.
Yeah. And they're like,
they care because they're going to sell shit to you, but they really don't care about your personal information.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're like, I'm getting off the internet. It's like, newsflash, you have a birth certificate and a driver's license. They already know about you.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're like going to live in a forest somewhere.
Like in a,
off the grid.
Like in a, cabin. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that was interesting. Interesting take. Because I'm like, we all have that same take, except for like, obviously the United States Senate, but whatever. That's another story for another day. And then Ashley appreciates that Lance is an entrepreneur, because he was mentioning all the stuff that Lance has. And I was like he has the restaurant and he has the podcast. And he does some other stuff.
He does some other stuff.
He's like hosting stuff. He was like doing other things like that.
He used to have like a champagne trailer that he would do stuff, and they've done like boxing. They've done stuff.
Yeah, so like he's always like doing new stuff, and he's like, and Ashley's like,
he's very active.
He does a lot of production and movie stuff too. Like that,
yeah. So then at the 47-minute mark, we got more ads. I'm like, oh God, kill me. And then we're back at the 50-minute mark. So then, so they're like, okay, talk about making the band. So then, like, essentially, Ashley, when he was excommunicated from the church, he did do the Grease musical at his local college. And then a lady saw him and she wanted to represent him. So then she sent him out on auditions. And reality TV wasn't really a thing back then.
They only had The Real World on MTV.
Yeah, so it was just only kind of beginning, right? So then he flew to Vegas to audition for making the band because he thought the LA auditions would have had more competition.
Which is a very valid
fair,
point.
I think. Yeah.
Smart guy.
Smart guy. It's only like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Vegas. And then, so then he's like, and it was essentially boy band mania. O-Town was special because they had they were a reality TV band, which was like the first of its kind.
Kind of like the Monkees or whatever.
And now they're saying, and Lance was saying nowadays, that is the vehicle for artists, a TV show.
Yeah.
Like,
O-Town created the television element for future boy bands.
So like how a Big Time Rush. Yeah. So the thing, or like the Monkees back in the olden days, the thing with Backstreet and NSYNC were already pretty high up in the career, so boy bands were a thing, so they needed a way to get in. So good old Lou did the TV aspects. Because they did this, O-Town was pretty much able to fast track. They didn't have to do the thing where they had to go to Europe or they had to work out in the blimp hangar.
Boy band camp. They didn't have to do boy band camp.
Because it was pretty instantaneous. Like, yes, they still had to like learn to dance and sing, do all that shit, but they already had an audience built in because people were watching the TV show.
Yes, he said O-Town was assembled and was an overnight success, and they were manufactured. And then they said O-Town was a complete dynamic because they were syndicated. They were internationally famous instantly. However, because of the fast rise, they also had to fizzle out, so they were only around for 3.5 years.
3 years,
which you never saw. Like, but yeah, Backstreet Boys also only was like 4 years.
Well, 30, but yes, but the main.
Like a mainstream. I mean, mainstream. Yes. If you look at it that way.
No, it's true because that's the cyclical thing.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to music, we have fads, right? Yeah, come and go, right?
Yes.
So it was interesting.
And then even NSYNC too, right? How many years? The same, maybe 4 years?
7, 8, I don't know, something. Yeah, around that. Yes, the
peak. The
peak. Yeah, the peak would have been about 3 or 4 years. So it would have been like when we were in high school. So
yeah, so basically the same.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Does it mention? Do you mention the 10-year thing when the O-Town coming back?
It's later. It's later. It's not now.
Not speak of
Okay. So then Ashley's favorite song is All or Nothing, and that was supposed to be the Westlife song, but then they gave it up.
Classic.
But then they also had a version now of it, so that's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
I would really love to hear a CD of artists singing the songs they gave up on.
Yeah.
And they passed it to like someone
because Backstreet Boys was supposed to have one of 5 songs.
When the Lights Go Out, I think.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is there's this guy on TikTok, and he actually, that's his whole channel is about that, about how and then he actually has, I don't know how he gets them, but he gets recordings. He's like, this was actually supposed to be a Britney Spears song, but it was given to this person. But Britney Spears recorded a little clip of it. Here's what it sounds like, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He has like glasses or something. I'm not really sure what his name is.
Oh,
but,
that's fun.
But yeah, it's on TikTok. He's really
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
TikTok is very educational for it's really good.
TikTok. I have an addictive personality, so I know that if I go on TikTok, I'm never going to leave.
It's true. I usually have like a rule to be like, okay, no TikTok after midnight, and I don't follow my own rule, and I will like literally go to bed at 4 a.m. because I'm like, I'm learning, right?
Literally during the pandemic, when I was sleeping at Josh's house for that 2 weeks, he got onto TikTok, and I fell asleep, and he was on TikTok, and I woke up, and he was. It was like, no, because then he was going to sleep because TikTok said, perhaps you've been on the channel
They don't do that anymore. They used to.
Because 6 hours had passed by.
They used to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're trying to protect you from
yeah, but they don't do
getting
that
too much
TikTok.
TikTok
that from Facebook like last month, and I was like, excuse you? I'm here all the time. I was like, how dare you? But I gotta go check again. They're like,
aren't they trying to ban TikTok in the US?
Yeah, in the United States, there's a whole US Senate thing about it.
And then I think Canada is now doing it as well, no?
We're not doing a ban. We're trying to pass a bill where it's Bill C-11, where CanCon, right, is usually for radio and TV, which means that we have to prioritize Canadian content.
35% Canadian content.
Yeah, so they're trying to implement that on the internet now, right? Because
interesting. How are they going to do that?
So what they're going to do is they're going to track IPs and and then they're going to present to you more Canadian content.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I mean, sounds great to people like us who
listen to us. We're Canadian.
You know what I mean? But then some people are like, "How dare you? You're trying to control my, censorship and all that."
Listen, I know a lot of people shit upon
dictatorship or whatever, right?
A lot of people shit upon CanCon and all that stuff, but there's a lot of good, catchy Canadian musicians and artists and songs.
Yeah. We only care about them because we had access to them.
Yes,
this is the thing. When we're in America and we're like, "Woo, Canada songs," they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's a double-edged sword.
Canadian artists on American radio. I'm like, ooh, they actually are popular. We're not just being forced to listen to them.
Right, exactly. Yes, it's a government grant paid for this guy to be here. Anyways, okay, so then they talk about the Boy Band Con, which is the best documentary regarding Lou Pearlman.
That was
very good. Yeah.
That's one of our earlier episodes.
Yeah, so it's just and then Ashley was saying funny moments where he's like, oh, I'd be in the office, and Lou's like, oh, gotta go, FBI's here, and it was cute. So he's like dealing with a con man was a double-edged sword because of Lou they got famous, but also Lou did some bad things.
Pause for a second. If you listen to the Frosted Tips with Brad from LFO, he was actually Lou's limo driver.
Which is crazy to think about.
So that's kind of how he got in. And then there was a moment where he actually drove Lance's parents from the airport. But this was back in MapQuest directions. And he took the wrong turn. And he was driving for a really long time. And he saw the sign for Daytona Beach. And he's like,
Oopsie.
So then he used the car phone because the limo had the car phone and called his buddy. And he's like, I don't know where I am. He's like, turn around. So it took 2 hours to get
Poor
Lance's parents to where they needed to be when it should have only taken half an hour. And Lance is like, that's so funny because I didn't know you were the limo driver, but my parents told me the story about. He's like, I don't think your parents knew we were lost. And he's like, yes, they did.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
That was funny.
But he saw a lot of shit go down with Lou too, right? Because he worked in the offices. So you're like,
exactly.
interesting.
Okay, and then this was a really cute one. Ashley shoplifted the NSYNC album.
Oh my god, that was funny. Oh my god, yeah.
So yeah, he's like, so he hid it. So essentially, he worked at a store. The album was damaged, so he was supposed to throw it away. So then he threw it under a dumpster, and then he waited 2 hours past the store closing and rode his bicycle. I'm like, oh my god! Like,
and then retrieved it from under the
dumpster. I'm like, oh, he's just as paranoid as me. Oh my god, he's so sweet.
And then Lance was like, "That's okay. We didn't get any money from that. That was from
like,
Lou.
You owe me a penny." Yeah, it was so cute. and then he used the "Tearing Up My Heart" song for his O-Town audition. So it was
Ooh.
yeah. And then they're like, okay, why did O-Town call it quits? So this was. I'm like, okay, it's a good point.
Yes.
I really don't know. So he says MTV filmed 3 seasons. And people at that point were just starting to avoid the cameras because he's like after having your life filmed constantly, like people were just kind of like over it. So then
people, he means the members of
O-Town.
Yeah, like when you have cameras every day, it's really like it's hard, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have like no light.
Privacy. And as being one of the first reality shows, they're still trying to figure out how a reality show works. They also said they shoot a lot of footage and then they kind of edit and make a show afterwards.
That's right. That's right.
Because before, I guess there wasn't like storylines how there is now.
Yes, exactly.
You just like shot the footage and then like made whatever happened. Yeah,
exactly.
I have to say my favorite episode. I haven't watched all. I think I actually did one time, Gina. We like watched all the episodes, but there was an episode where they're in Vegas and there's a radio station contest where like people win dates with O-Town. And there's like different dates that they kind of go on, like whatever. Like Jacob brought his on a tour of the tour bus or whatever, and then somebody else did this. But the chick who was with Ashley wanted to get married, so she went to like with a Graceland wedding chapel or whatever, and they're actually getting married. And he's like, "What?" And they're like, no, the manager said it was okay. And she's like wearing a wedding dress. And so I was like, is this real or fake? Like,
oh, God.
What the hell? Like, don't just sign this for like, and he's like, so obviously it was fake, but like, but he's like, should I be signing this? Oh, yeah, it's just a souvenir. It's fine. And then it's just like,
oh, my
so it's
God.
like a funny episode if you can find it.
Yeah.
All right. So then, so after filming 3 seasons and people started to avoid the cameras, MTV called it quits. Clive Davis dropped the band. Ashley then
because of the show ending.
Right.
He didn't like
there's
that.
been a lot of Clive Davis recently, eh? Like, I feel like...
because he had the movie come out about Whitney
Houston, like all that stuff. So I feel like I've been hearing a lot about Clive Davis recently. So.
Yeah, good point.
And he always has the Grammy parties.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, there you go. So then Ashley moved to LA, and MTV wants to do like a cover of his solo career. And then after 3 years of
because he's having a child, getting together with his girlfriend, that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. So then after 3 years, he fell out of love with the music industry. He did do a song with Max Martin, but as an artist, he had to give up a lot of control. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he was saying that if he were to ever do, like, the one thing he regrets is not being an executive producer.
Yeah.
Because he had no control over the editing at all.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, of his reality show there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then he transitioned to Broadway, and he turned down 3 movie roles. He only mentioned 2. Like, but I'm like, what's the third one? I know, right? So he said that the first one was The Grind, which with Paramount Pictures, which is about like, I guess, skateboarding, and that launched that guy's career.
The
and then
Grind
he doesn't
sounded familiar.
He didn't say Magic Mike, but he said something alongside Channing Tatum. And like, obviously that was Magic Mike.
I feel like he would be excellent in Magic Mike.
He would have been fantastic.
Yes, he would have like fit right in.
Exactly. But he's like, and he's like, you know what, to be honest with you, he's like, I'm not a huge fan of movies because it's a lot of hurry up and wait. And I'm like, oh my God, yes it is.
I know when he said that, I was like, oh, that's like Lydia.
Totally hurry up and wait. So that's why he likes the live element on Broadway because it's more exciting. And I was like, okay,
fair enough.
Fair, that's fair.
Yeah, so it's like more interactive, and I'm like, okay, cool. All right, so then we get to the fan questions. Okay, I know we're at an hour, but so let's finish up here. Okay, so what is so they're like from Elmo 3907. I'm like, what the hell? Like these names, these freaking names. Like
it's probably been a long time ago that they made them, and then they're like, whatever, I don't want to change it.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Cereal chins I got.
No, I know. It's funny.
I've had Soph D loves BSB since I was on Twitter.
It's just like it. I think in the future we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. Like for example, Kenny watches this documentary about the Minecraft Anarchy server, right? And then he'd be like, at 6 p.m., like 69-420 blaze it rated the thing. I'm like, oh my god, like this is like because like the guy narrates it as if this is like really real life history that's really important, and it's about, like, and you're just like, what the fuck are these names? Anyways, it was just funny. I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Maybe it's hard to come up with names. I don't know.
Yeah, like pizza pie 69. You're like, Anyways, I thought it was funny.
That's like your email, right? Like when you're younger, you have like a crazy email. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that email.
Right, exactly.
Put that email on your resume.
No, totally. It was so funny. Anyway, so they're like, so Elmo asked, what's your dream Broadway role? And he said, Magic Mike or puppetry of the penis. And I'm like, yeah.
I think Lance said puppetry.
I thought of you, Lydia. I don't know why.
And Ashley's like, I want to change my answer to that. I'll change it to that.
Let me tell you, I've watched Puppetry of the Penis. That is an interesting show. That was it really is puppetry. They twisted in various things.
And don't they wear capes?
They wear capes and socks.
And nothing else.
And nothing else. Maybe shoes. And one time he made it into like a little hamburger. Gonzo. There's a lot of twisting going on. At one point he did like a handstand, and it's just yeah. And the finale, for anyone who has not, so it's these two, I want to say Scottish, Irish guys. It's been many years. They had accents. They were from Europe somewhere.
Okay.
The original guys. I don't know if other people are doing it now. But anyways, the finale was the one guy stood on a skateboard and stretched his scrotum out, and the other guy had a fan, and the fan blew air onto this man's scrotum, and he rolled across the stage on a skateboard.
Wow.
I was watching this with my friend and her mom.
Okay. Don't watch it with your mom.
I was running late from work, and the person checking me in was a guy I went to high school with. So that was also incredibly awkward to go there. And I was just like, and it was at Hamilton Place, my friend. It was not at some seedy bar.
My God.
It was at a fancy music hall that I've seen like opera singers perform, and there's this fucking guy just like scrotuming along on his skateboard, and it was just like. And by the end, because they just spent an hour twisting their dick in various shapes like origami, it was very red and sore.
Poor guy. That's wild.
All right. Yeah.
So can't wait for Ashley's debut.
There was a lot of funny jokes though. It was
so funny.
Yeah.
Ashley essentially he loves to dance, so that's why he's happy with that. His favorite song that was not a single is Shy Girl.
They also used like the J14 again. I was like, oh, good.
Oh, that was later. That's later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I have it written down.
Did you talk about the 10 years thing?
No,
okay. Yeah, just do your thing. I'll talk about
it. His favorite song is that it wasn't a single is Shy Girl or Girl.
Oh, he sang a little bit of it. Oh my God, you sound so good. You should be in a boy band.
I know, he's so cute. And then so from the user, it's not soba. I'm like, fuck. Okay. I'm like, well, just not all of them, but I'm just like, what the hell is this? Anyways, best health tip is don't work out for the physical results, work out for the mental results, and never skip leg day. It's like, okay.
That is a fair tip.
Yeah. And then do you have any?
Because I feel like if you're working out for the physical results, you get discouraged very easily when it's not instant.
Yeah.
Like, where's my abs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whatever. So like, and then you're just like, fuck it, I'm doing all this work for nothing.
Right.
And and muscle weighs more than fat. So even if you're looking at the scale, you're like, oh my God, I'm not changing. Whatever. Yeah. So that is a very good point.
Yeah.
Right.
And it takes a while to get down to like getting abs. Like you need to like 15% fat, body fat. Like it takes a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And then any regrets from a reality show, as you mentioned this earlier, not being an executive producer. The final edit is so important, and you need a final say as an artist.
Yeah.
It's true. But even like Drag Race, you sign all that away because like you have to, you're no one until you're on the show, and then you become someone.
And that's why like shows like Love is Blind or whatever have those like the cups that are not see-through, because you like, if you can see this, you can see the water going down and stuff. So they do it in a way where they can like move the storyline around by like splicing the conversation in different orders to make somebody a villain and somebody like that
hero.
Right? So, you know, so it really depends on what they're editing. So
exactly. Yeah.
Reality shows are not realities, essentially the main thing. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that was crazy. Like, because I used to watch The Hills. And then after the first season, I was like, oh my God, this has been storylines already? Like, because they gave it away, right? They like right on the season finale, they gave it away like it's a TV show within a TV show. And I was like, that sucks.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch The Hills, but so it made it look like this was actually them, and then it turned out that it was fake and scripted.
Yeah, so you found out like it was fake. It wasn't real. They're just reality shows are storylines. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not watching this ever again.
I know, right? Go figure.
I just wasted all this time.
No. All right. So
yeah, because I used to watch all the reality shows back in the day. Like when they first came out, I watched everything. And then I stopped because I was like, okay, wasting my time.
I know. All right. So who mentioned J14? Was that you?
Sophia.
That was me.
Okay. All right. So now we're at the Teen Magazine questionnaire from 20 years ago. So they asked, he never answered this question with the other thing, but what is your most ticklish spot?
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what?
The taint. I was like, what?
Because he was like, how far can we go? Is this like a dirty podcast or like a PG podcast?
Sure. And I'm like, oh God, where's he going?
I'm like, what is he gonna say?
So for those at home who don't know what the taint is, it is the part between your anus and your ball sack. It's that little,
the little like connector.
Yeah, that's apparently he's ticklish there.
Whoa.
He never mentioned what the J14 answer was.
I'm assuming not the
taint.
Because J14, it was very PG back in the day. Well, still is, but
I'm pretty sure most magazines would not print the taint.
No.
So I was just like, and then they just kept saying taint, and I was like, oh my God, stop saying taint.
Why are you still talking? And then
go to the next question.
Bye-bye. And I'm like,
and then Michael was all like, I knew you were going to say the taint. And I was like, oh my God, I don't need to know, guys. I don't need to know.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though. I laughed.
But like, is he just like with somebody and like, I'm gonna tickle your taint?
Like who does that?
How does this come up?
Nobody. Like
you're having sexy time. Like, ooh, tickle the taint. Like,
that's the only time you'd see him naked, where you'd have access to that.
Oh my God!
No one walks on the street and goes like not even. So that was so funny. I'm like, what are you talking?
Oh my God! Yeah, I was dying. I don't know why it was funny, but I was like, wow, you just like.
It was crazy.
It went downhill after.
Yeah.
Just keep saying it. It just keeps going.
Yeah,
like,
there we go. And then smells he can't live without. He says now it's coffee, but in J14 he said girl's hair.
And then he was like, wow, that was a creepy answer.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And then
I was like, yeah.
That's smart. That's great. And then, is he a good kisser? And he says, now better than ever. And then in J14, he said, apparently there was like a big paragraph,
very long paragraph
of different levels of. It was a very complex answer about different levels of kissing. And it was like,
yes.
Okay.
And then they were talking about how JC was like a fish because he answered the question.
He did like a boy. He's like, in my boy band voice. You know?
Yeah, but it wasn't JC's like the answer is like, what animal do you kiss like? And then JC's like fish because I don't know, it was something about a fish.
I said a wolf, but then I was getting kind of.
I don't know. It was like, what is happening?
Like a wet fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On an O-Town reunion, he says, not anytime soon, and I don't think so.
So first,
because of his business.
Yes.
Because he runs the business. So it's hard to take him away from that and like go on tour for like 3 months.
Yeah, because he says O-Town's been together for over 10 years now, and even if Vegas was footing the bill, he's built his own business, and it's hard to take 3 months away
because he doesn't want to disappoint his clients.
Yeah,
but he did bring up a very valid point. There is that when O-Town was together, they were only together for 3.5 years, and now since the other 4 have reunited, they've been together for 10 years. So that's like 3 times the amount
of time
that O-Town was together. And they've also released 2 additional albums, right? So they released 2 albums as O-Town before the breakup, and now they've released 2 albums afterwards. So they have grown as a band. And he kind of implied at some point that because they were all put together, that maybe the personalities didn't mesh as well because they didn't go through that bonding. Like obviously they still bonded, but it wasn't the same as like NSYNC and Backstreet, where they're day after day.
Trauma bond.
Yes, exactly. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So so anyway, so I thought that was actually quite an interesting point. Like maybe he could do a one-off show, but honestly,
which is fair, right? Like
fair.
You grow as a person, and you don't want to be stuck doing the same thing that you were doing when you were younger.
Yeah.
Sure. And he is like the CEO of his fitness company and stuff. And I guess he like does daily shit with people. I don't know. But
yeah, he does.
And it was nice to hear that he appreciated being in the band. Because sometimes you hear like, oh, does he even like being in the band? But he's like, yeah, that like he enjoyed that time. So I'm like, that's very nice. At least he enjoyed it.
And I feel like maybe at some point they probably were like, pissed off that Ashley didn't join the reunion or whatever.
Of course.
But I feel like O-Town has like evolved so much over the last 10 years that I feel like,
I feel like they got over it after a while. They're like, yeah, we can do it on our own.
Yeah, and they're doing fine.
And they are doing fine.
Yeah, they're having a great time.
They're like, Brad's back up for the LFO portion and things like that. So,
exactly.
They're hustling and doing their thing. Like, I don't think they'll ever get to the point of like Backstreet Boys arenas and things like that.
I don't think they want to though.
But I also don't think that they ever did have that. Like even because Ashley was saying at one point that during the height when they were big and stuff, it was never as big as that, right? So
I only have 2 more points left. I know we're at 114. Yes. Okay. And so I guess in the J14 there was like a topless picture of him, and he's like photographers always convince you to take your shirt off. Somehow you end up in the ocean with no shirt on. Yes. He's like, I don't know how they do it.
Lance was talking about that too. They're like, oh, maybe just try it this way. Oh, okay, maybe just take your shirt off and then whatever. And so
and then it ends off with Lance likes getting his feet tickled. So
his what?
His feet tickled.
Yes,
taint.
I did hear
Not
that.
his taint.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
What in the world? So yeah, that was the Ashley Parker Angel interview, and it was very good. I highly recommend you go listen to it. His voice is gorgeous.
He does have a good voice, and he's very positive.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you should
feel like
more.
I learned things as well. So
I mean, I had Kenny listen to it. He's like, oh, he's a pretty cool guy. Yeah, I'm like,
and I feel like he has some inspirational things for you too.
Yeah.
So
it was very interesting. Some of the things that he said were like fair points, and I enjoyed some of the things that he said about life.
Exactly. It was pretty cool, and I highly recommend. Any other last minute things you guys want to say before we wrap up?
No, I thought it was a good interview.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay. Thanks for taking a break with us, guys.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.